We're here today for the McComb Lions Club. It's our normal Tuesday meeting. We meet every Tuesday at noon at the Golden Corral here in McComb. And today we're very honored to have Dr. Rodney Bennett, the president of the University of Southern Mississippi, as our guest speaker today. There's been a lot of stuff going on at the university with the athletic director situation, along with the tornado damage. It damaged a lot of our facilities, so I think he's got a lot of information, and I think he's got a strong task ahead of him. So let's go in and see what he's got to say.
Thank you, Tony. And thanks to each of y'all for being here. It's a real pleasure for me to have the opportunity to speak to this club, and especially to have so many good USM alumni who are here. So thank y'all for being here. I did ask Tony to sort of help me with the time, because as a college professor, which I was prior to becoming the 10th president at USM, I can get long-winded and I can sort of start talking as if I'm teaching for the quiz or the final exam, which is always a comprehensive exam. We want to know what you've learned throughout the semester. And I know that with the lunchtime meetings, it's really important to sort of get in, have your program, have your lunch, and then get on with your day. So Tony is going to help me stay to about 20 minutes, 25 minutes if I'm able to do that. I've got some prepared updates from Hattiesburg and USM that I want to go over. But before I do that, I really want to tip my hat today to the Lions Club. An organization like this, whose purpose is really about service and improving communities, is really something that's very important to me and to the university and really to our country. And I know that clubs like yours and those all across the country and the world continue to serve a very important role in helping young people and families improve communities. And it's really the improvement of communities that makes us stronger as individuals, as counties, as a state, and as a country. So I really salute the Lions Club for your work in making sure that this area is well served and sharing that message with young people all across this region. It goes without saying that the University of Southern Mississippi is one of 8 institutions that make up the IHL board. But in the context of that, I really wanted to just remind everybody of what that means and what that looks like. There are more than 80,000 young people throughout the state of Mississippi who are seeking a higher education, one of those 8 institutions. The demographics of those students break out to this. About 60% of those 80,000 students are female, and about 40% or so are male. 57% are white students, 36% are black students. 76% of those students are in-state, within the state of Mississippi, and 24% come to us from outside of the state of Mississippi. The majors that those students tend to seek really across the board are in these areas. 80,000 young people are seeking degrees in biology. You can draw some conclusions about why a student may want to have a major in biology, maybe medical school or marine sciences or something related to health and wellness. Education, we always need good teachers at the K-12 and higher education level. Business, love entrepreneurs, people that want to go out and sort of create something and make it their own and be successful with it. Physical education and psychology. So I'll go over those again. Biology, education, business, physical education, and psychology are the majors that we see across the system that those 80,000 students are pursuing a degree in. The University of Southern Mississippi, as we all know, was founded in 1910 and has grown to become a comprehensive research university offering bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees through 6 colleges. Now, I know we've got a lot of alums here. You can think back of what college you were in when you were in Hattiesburg. But we have 6 colleges now, with campuses both in Hattiesburg and in Long Beach. Our campus in Long Beach, along with 6 teaching and research sites, comprise the University of Southern Mississippi Gulf Coast. We offer more than 140 undergraduate majors at USM and more than 200 graduate degree programs in business, science and technology, nursing, education, the arts, and many other fields. Our students have the opportunity to engage in undergraduate research that results in real-world solutions to current problems. And that's very important when you are a research institution, to expose young people to the depth and breadth of what goes on at a research institution. And we are doing that every single day. This year, our students at USM were awarded 1 Truman Scholarship and 2 Goldwater Scholarships, which signifies the academic opportunities provided at Southern Miss that contribute to student success. And I want to pause there for just a second. In the academy that I'm in, we sort of gauge our effectiveness and how well we're doing with students on the number of national awards that our students receive. Typically, you hear college presidents like myself talk about how many Rhodes Scholarships their students have been awarded. How many people have heard that? I've got 3 Rhodes or 2 Rhodes, or this person was a Rhodes Scholar. There are 6 or 7 of those national awards that really begin to identify quality in higher education. The Truman Scholarship is one of those, and the Goldwater Scholarships are in that same class that really sets us apart from other institutions. And USM was one of just a few institutions in Mississippi this year that can report having students who won those national scholarships. And so if we were going to pause here and highlight something for the final exam, this would be something that would be really important that I want you to have in your study materials, to know that USM is competitive academically on a national stage in terms of quality. I'm excited about the future of Southern Miss, and I certainly hope that each of you are equally as excited. This past year, this Mississippi State Legislature earmarked $20 million for us to build a new nursing building, one of our marquee signature programs. On campus, we had anticipated getting some funding from the state for nursing, but not in our wildest dreams did we think that we would receive $20 million from the state to build the nursing building. Well, we were able to receive that, and we're thankful to the Mississippi Legislature for that. And if you have an opportunity to thank them, I would encourage you to do that because it will send a very clear message to them that the stakeholders across the state are paying attention to that and want good quality health care and good nursing to help fill the void, especially in some of the rural counties that may not have physicians or hospitals or the like. Nurses can go a long way in filling that void. The Mississippi Legislature gave us $1.65 million for tornado relief and renovation after our February 10th tornado. They gave us an additional $1.1 million to replace musical instruments that had been damaged in the tornado. And as I mentioned before, we have the campus down at the coast. They gave us $1.5 million to purchase a new research vessel for the Gulf Coast Research Laboratory, which is in Ocean Springs. And so I don't know about you, but when I look at the evidence and I start tallying that up, and I think about what's happened in a very short amount of time, I think the Mississippi State Legislature is sending very clear messages to Hattiesburg that they like what we're doing, that we're on the right track, to keep going, to keep focusing on recruiting of good students, to keep focusing on how we retain those students, how they progress towards graduation. They're really putting their money behind the things that they believe in, and I'm thankful to our legislators for that support. If you have not been to Hattiesburg recently, you will be surprised by how differently the campus looks. I want to highlight 3 major construction projects that are really changing the landscape of our campus. First, we have the new business school, which is progressing very quickly. My understanding is that the building is scheduled to open in fall of 14, on time and under budget. 2 things that a college president always likes to hear: on time and under budget. We're grateful for that. well out of the ground next to the Trent Lott Center. If you're familiar with that part of campus that faces 49, it will be adjacent to Trent Lott. Students will have classes there this time next year. The new building for the College of Nursing, we will start on in mid-fall if all goes well. We're excited about that. Not long ago, I traveled to New York where we were able to sell more than $55 million in bonds with Morgan Stanley to build a Century Park South, which will be a new residential facility that will house more than 950 students on our campus. 3 major construction projects that, if you've not been to campus recently, will definitely change the landscape and the traffic patterns and how we use our campus. I urge you and encourage you to come back and see and monitor the progress of the new College of Business building, the new nursing building, and Century Park South. Great additions that will carry us well into the future. We also, through our polymer science department, I think we all are familiar with what goes on in polymers, have entered into a partnership with GE Aviation on technology as they build jet engines for airplanes at their Ellisville, Mississippi plant, which is right up 59 from Hattiesburg, if you're familiar with sort of the geography of that part of the state. Our polymers are actively involved in the materials that go for these jet engines, which will do a number of things to include being lighter weight, which reduces, don't get me to be a rocket scientist, trust me, but which will reduce the fuel that's needed to carry the engines and everything else that goes in the airplane. Well, we are actively involved through the polymers with that technology and that partnership. As I mentioned before, we have excelled in having several of our students, 3 of our students, win national awards. I'll reiterate at this moment the Truman Scholarship, which we're excited about, and 2 of our students winning the Goldwater scholarships. Just for perspective on that, in the state of Mississippi, there was 1 college student that won the Truman Scholarship. Well, you already know the answer to that test question. That student, male student, came from USM. We're so proud of him. In the state of Mississippi, there were 3 students that received the Goldwater Scholarship. Across the state now, not just with the 80,000 that are enrolled at IHL, but every institution across the state of Mississippi. 3 students won the Goldwater Scholarship. 2 of those 3 students were our students at USM. That starts to speak to why I'm excited and why I've talked about it 2 or 3 different times now, because that's what sort of increases our reputation in the world of academia. We continue to make great strides in restoring buildings that were damaged from the February tornado. All of the damaged classrooms on the Hattiesburg campus are now operational. We'll be utilizing new funding from the state legislature in the coming to continue work on the common areas of the building. You may not know, but when the tornado came through, certainly some of the classrooms were damaged, but some of the large performing spaces had the roofs taken off. And so for 4 days, it rained on the Performing Arts Center. So we're back in the classrooms, but some of the common spaces we are still working on and restoring. We kicked off a campus beautification campaign to help restore the campus front landscape. The tornado just came right down Hardy Street and really took out most of everything that was there in its path. So we've been able to raise well over $1 million to replace beautiful live oak trees that were destroyed, small shrubs that were destroyed. And so if you've not been there recently, the campus, the front of campus is really starting to look like the way that it looked when you were probably last there. We continue to be very proud of our athletic programs. Our baseball team had a stellar year this past year and played in the title game of the 2013 Conference USA Baseball Championship. Very, very proud of our student athletes that competed in baseball. We're excited about our upcoming football season. We've got a new football coach, but we're excited about Coach Munkin and the energy that he will bring to our football program. Donnie Tyndall, our men's basketball coach, made us all very proud this past basketball season when he took us to several rounds of the NIT tournament. Those student athletes there continue to play a very important role in getting the USM logo and name out across a wider region. And then one little thing that I've included in my notes that you may not know is that when the tornado came through, lots of secondary debris sort of found its way all over campus. A lot of that ended up in the stadium. And so what we decided to do was to replace the turf that was in the stadium because of the glass shards and nails and screws and other things that were there, to create a safer surface for student athletes this football season to play on. We also took the opportunity to improve the drainage on the field. I'm sure if you were there last season, you know we had some serious drainage problems. And so I've not looked at the stadium recently, but the last time I was there, construction was well underway, and we are scheduled to be on time with the home opener, which is August 31st against Texas State. I hope each of you will be there. We also had to make some improvements to the scoreboard because the wind and the debris damaged the scoreboard. And so those two secondary, if you will, items resulted from the tornado that we had not really anticipated until we got in there and started doing the work. But I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish there. Okay, many good things are happening at our vibrant Gulf Park campus in Long Beach. And within the 6 teaching and research sites that comprise the Gulf Coast campus, I never want our stakeholders to lose sight of the fact that we are really the only true dual campus system in the IHL system. We're the only one that really has 2 very distinct campuses, and so we always have to remember the good work that's going on down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So let me take just a moment, Tony, if I've still got a few more minutes, and give you 4 or 5 quick bullets related to the work that's going on there. 4 out of the 5 post-Katrina buildings have been restored on the Gulf Park campus. Believe it or not, it just takes a long time working with, it just takes a long time to get the buildings back restored. I did the commencement down the Gulf Coast on May 11th, I believe it was, on Saturday, May 11th. A lot of energy from those students and their families there. And I wanted to just tell you that if you've got relatives or church members or people that you know on the coast and they want to go back and get a 4-year degree, the most popular majors down on the coast are science and technology, education, psychology, and business are the areas that most of our students are graduating from in those areas. So these successes demonstrate to me from the chair that I sit in that USM can do great things. We have for more than 100 years done remarkable things for students in the South Mississippi region, but we are poised to continue to do great things. I believe that our greatest opportunities as an institution lie ahead of us. Somebody told me the other day, let's just take that rearview mirror and just tear it down and stop looking behind us, but look towards the future and look for a brighter day, because our best days as an institution are ahead of us. And I think if we sort of think about that in our own lives, and our own careers, and our own families, when we look forward, we see a lot of hope, and we see a lot of opportunity that has yet to be realized and capitalized on, as opposed to always looking in that rearview mirror, looking behind us.